Hey Aquarius, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me. This is your Venus Retrograde special report video where I intend on talking about the planet Venus, what she represents to us, what retrograde motion is, and what we can do to kind of visualize it in our minds. Also the dates that will be impacting us and the houses that it will play out for you on a general basis, Aquarius. On top of that, I will pull some tarot cards from a modified deck that has the major arcana and the aces of each of the sets, or each of the suits. So that would be cups, wands, pentacles, and swords. And I have 4 oracle decks that I will be pulling from as well. So, Aquarius. Venus is the planet that represents love, beauty, and harmony, also money and resources, and she will be going retrograde in Aries and back into Pisces. So I say she because the glyph for Venus is the feminine sign, the female sign. So retrograde is an optical illusion in the sky, which looks like, from our perspective on the planet, the planet in retrograde is going backwards from our perspective here on Earth. However, it's just an optical illusion. Think of it like this. The best way I've ever heard it explained was through the analogy of driving on the interstate. And it's where you're driving and you get behind someone who isn't moving fast enough, so you get in the passing lane, you accelerate, you match their speed, you accelerate some more, you pass them, and after a while you can look in the rearview mirror and see that vehicle that you passed almost looks like it's going backwards. It's not. It's just an optical illusion of the distance between your moving vehicle and their moving vehicle. So, the retrograde has a couple of parts to it. There's a pre-retrograde shadow, the retrograde, and a post-retrograde shadow. And the pre-retrograde and post-retrograde shadows I like to think of as the appetizer and the palate cleanser, or the appetizer and the dessert. We are experiencing the pre-retrograde shadow effects of Venus right now, even as I record this video. So chances are the themes or energies that will be playing out for you under this spring duration of this Venus retrograde has probably already started to present itself to you in the areas of life that it's going to play out in. The post-retrograde shadow is like the clearing up, the tying up of loose ends, and the reflection on the lessons that Venus brought for you for the retrograde season. So, Venus will be retrograding throughout your 3rd and 2nd houses. The 2nd house is also where you're going to be experiencing a solar eclipse. So there's going to be a lot of focus in the 2nd house. The 2nd house is Pisces on your chart, but is ruled by the zodiac sign of Taurus. This is the house of your money, earning ability, self-esteem, and possessions. I like to think of the 2nd house as anything you could point to, classify, identify, or introduce as mine to someone else would fall under the 2nd house umbrella. So there will be new growth in that area of values and possessions, earning ability, and self-esteem. And there will also be a period of reflection on this as well. So, and Venus will provide that. And Venus being the planet of money and resources and also beauty, it will give you an opportunity to reassess this house of money and self-esteem. The 3rd house is traditionally ruled by Gemini, but for you it's Aries. Gemini, or the 3rd house ruled by Gemini, is communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors, or people in your neighborhood. Communication is a broad area, so let's break that down. It's how you speak, it's how people interpret you and how you interpret others. It's also how you digest and consume information. It is your voice and how you get your voice out into the world through your communication devices. It is also your commute. Point A to point B, the travel that you do, the road that you take, and the vehicle that you use. So Venus going through this area of life is going to give you an opportunity to reassess and reflect on what you value in these areas. Now, the best way for you to navigate this Venus retrograde would be to consider focusing on yourself. And that's not to say be a jerk to other people, but if any decisions need to come up, if any planning needs to take place, center it around yourself, or make your decisions based solely on yourself and what you're able to do, because the people around you, even if they want to help, may not be able to help, or they may say that they can, and then for whatever reason they're not able to. So basically, it's to thine own self be true, and really count on yourself, so if anything does happen, you're not devastated if somebody else is not able to keep up their end of the bargain. Now, the challenges that will present itself under this retrograde are going to be through the lens of love and money. And the fact that this is occurring, the planet of love and money is going retrograde in the sign of love and money for you, indicates an extended look at what you value in your money, earning ability, self-esteem, possessions, and the things that you value in your world and want to know where they're at personally. There are perks that come with a retrograde. Usually anything that has the prefix of re, would be appropriate. I would say anything except for redecorating or like a makeover. And the reason I say that is because Venus has an eye for beauty. But when she's retrograde, she's going to see things differently. And when she's back direct, she probably won't like what she saw when it was retrograde. So what I'm saying is your tastes are going to change throughout this Venus retrograde, and you're not going to want to have to grow out a very short haircut if that's not something that you would normally do, or you're not going to want to have to deal with recoloring your hair because you decided that you wanted to color it a vibrant color of the rainbow. Forewarned is forearmed. So that's really what's going on for you in the astrological sense of things. But I'm not finished talking to you about how you can navigate it. The perks are reconnection and renegotiation. And that's nice when you are talking about the house of values and self-esteem and possessions and earning ability. Renegotiations is good. And reconnection of valued connections could also be coming back your way, so that would be nice. Now, what you can do to ask yourself if you value it or not is is this worth fighting for? If it is worth fighting for, then by all means roll your sleeves up and fight for it. If it isn't worth fighting for because you need to repair it in some way, then do or work on the repairs with your partner or whoever, and then fight for it if need be. But it also gives you the opportunity to reflect on things, and if it is no longer worth fighting for, it gives you the opportunity to release those situations, circumstances, or people in your life that are no longer working for your highest benefit and to your good. Release them with gratitude and with loving energy and thankful energy for the lessons and growth and blessings that they brought to you. But with every closure, there comes a new area of life for growth. So release them with love and understand that as much as you got from them, hopefully they got from you. So now what I'm going to do is show you some oracle card deck boxes. This is a Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. I'm going to pull a card from this for you during the spread. I'm also going to pull a card from the Butterfly Oracle Card for Life Changes deck by Doreen Virtue. I use this deck when we are under the influence of eclipses, and this Venus retrograde is most certainly peppered with the eclipse energy, not only the lunar, but also the solar. Especially the solar, but we're under the influence of the pre-retrograde shadow under the lunar eclipse. That's a lot to try to get out. The next oracle card deck I want to show you is the Divine Circus Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. And the last deck that I'm going to be pulling from, or at least showing you, is the Journey of Love Oracle deck. This is also by Elena Fairchild. The artwork is by an artist named Rizzuli. So, Aquarius. Let's go ahead and shuffle. I'm going to use this time really quickly to let you know that if this reading does not resonate for you, and for some of you it may not, that's just fine. You have more than just Aquarius in you. You have a little bit of each of the zodiac in you, believe it or not. You have a birth chart called a natal chart that has 12 houses, and each of those houses is ruled by a sign of the zodiac. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I encourage you to Google the words free natal chart and have your birth certificate close by, because it's going to ask you to fill out a form that wants to know your name, or not your name, well, yeah, maybe your name, I don't know, your birthday, your birth time, and your birthplace. And it will generate a chart. Please generate a Western chart if you're going to send it to me. But it's going to generate a chart, and then you can Google how to read your natal chart, or you can find online YouTube tutorials on how to read your natal chart to find your moon and rising sign placements. If you've gone through that and you can't figure it out, or you want me to, go back behind you and tell you, yeah, you figured it out right, whatever the case may be, you can send me a screenshot of your natal chart to sweettastro@gmail.com. And like I said, please make sure that that's a Western chart. I've had several people send me Vedic charts, and I want to learn Vedic astrology, but I don't know it right now, and I don't want to give you the wrong information. So make sure that's a Western chart so that I can give you the appropriate information for the type of astrology and readings that I do. One of these days I'll learn Vedic, but that time is not now, darlings. But yeah, generate you a chart so you can figure out where your placements are, because the general energies that I'm speaking of is going to speak to Aquarius rising and some Aquarius suns. But if you have your personal chart, you'll be able to see exactly where this stuff is playing out, because you can correlate where Aries and Pisces is and transcribe that to the houses that are most relevant to you in your chart. Okay, once again, a mouthful. Let me cut the deck for you, Aquarius. Okay, I'm going to pull my top of the month 4-card spread, but because this is with Major Arcana and the Aces, it should give us a pretty good idea as to what's going on. The bottom card to represent the underlying theme or the overarching energy, and the top 3 for clarity. I've also been assigning past, present, and future to each of those top 3 cards, because some people like that time representation. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but for those who like that, there is that, because I've had several private messages asking me about giving timing in that regard, because I don't give that in that 4-card spread. I do in the mid-month with the past, present, obstacle, help, outcome. But yeah. This is a Sage Goddess Shipstone Oracle deck, Aquarius. Just remember and be aware that there's going to be a lot of focus on that second house of your money, your values, your earning ability, and self-esteem. That focus is going to be new growth and new energy coming through for new opportunities. So keep an eye out and work with the energy, and pay attention to what Venus is trying to teach you as well, would be my advice. Because that's a very important lesson that you're going to be undergoing with the planet that represents money and resources and love, going through that house of your resources and possessions and money and self-esteem, the things that you care most about. And I mean, your relationships could qualify as that, because you introduce your partner, your children, whatever, as my to other people. Second house is the house of mine. And this is the Journey of Love Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, by the way. Now the Divine Circus Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. Quickly becoming one of my favorite decks. I like the artwork. I'm a Scorpio rising, and the artwork can look a little dark. It can be a little dark. The messages have always been very resonant for the readings, or at least supplementary to what might be going on in your world. And if nothing else, it contains good advice. This is the Butterfly Oracle deck for life. Changes by Doreen Virtue, and I like to use this during eclipse season, and with this Venus retrograde being kind of bookended by the eclipses, I figured it would be a nice indicator as well to use. A nice oracle deck. And it's why I chose this deck over the Sacred Rebels oracle deck. Because if I'd have done that, it would have been 3 Elena Fairchild decks. She is by far my favorite artist when it comes to oracle decks. I need to expand my horizons, I know. I'm a creature of habit. Once I find something I like it. Taurus Moon. Scorpio Rising. Aries Sun. Taurus Moon. Okay, Aquarius, what I'm going to do now is hit the pause button, flip these cards over, do the tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story. Hang tight, y'all. Hi, Aquarius, I'm back with your cards, so let's get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy of this spread is the Magician upright. The Magician is the first card of the Major Arcana that speaks to the Aries ruled house of the House of Self. I think of the first house as the physical embodiment of who you are and how the world sees you. It is your personality, but it's also your physical body and your appearance. It's how people see you the first time they meet you. It's what they see in you and what they see about you. It's the things that they remember about you as well. This Magician card represents the planet Mercury, which is representative of thought and communication. And that is very much third house energy, and that is going to be a place where Venus is tiptoeing through during this Venus retrograde. Pardon me. Venus is also accompanied by Uranus, which is the planet of shocks and surprises. It's the Great Awakener. It's also the planet of change, liberation, and rebellion. So it could be that you are getting shocking communication, or you are delivering shocking communication, possibly around some sort of second or third house energy that I've already spoken about. The communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors, or the house of mind, your possessions, earning ability, self-esteem, money, and the things that you could introduce to other people as my. Now, Mercury did go retrograde between Capricorn and Sagittarius in late 2016, and Mercury didn't clear the shadow until the post-retrograde shadow until the end of January of 2017. This is very much a principle of the law of attraction. Think as above, so below. Thoughts become things. You have the tools at your disposal for manifestation available at your hands if you so choose to use them. I feel like there might be a Scorpio involved in this situation or somewhere in the mix because of the infinity symbol above the Magician's head. That is a symbol for my Scorpios. I'm a Scorpio riser, so yeah. It could be involving a Scorpio. Someone that has their sun, their moon, or their rising in that sign. You will not know that unless you know their chart or they've given you that information. Now, the first card that I pulled for you that would represent the past in the top 3 for clarity is the World card reversed. This is the 21st card of the Major Arcana. 2 plus 1 is 3, and that speaks to that Gemini ruled house of communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. It is that house that Venus is going retrograde through. This card in itself is representative of the planet Saturn. And Saturn is transiting through Sagittarius right now. That is your 11th house. But what's interesting, Aquarius, is you rule the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of your friends, your groups, the memberships and associations that you belong to. It's also your future wishes, goals, and dreams, like your bucket list. And it's also the house of the internet. This card, when I see it, I think of the internet because of the World Wide Web. You get information from 4 different parts of the globe. The fact that it's upside down could be that whatever it is that is coming to you through the 11th house, possibly internet communication or through your friends, groups, memberships, or associations that you have, it could be that it turns your world upside down. Or it could be that you're just looking at the world through a very subjective point of view as opposed to being objective. Saturn is a planet that represents containment, restriction, and limitation. I think of Saturn as the building inspector. And if the building is not built to code, then it's condemned and it has to be knocked down. And Saturn guarantees that whatever you have built in that 11th house, or whatever you have done in that 11th house, if it is not built structurally sound, it will be taken down or disseminated or disassembled, destroyed, dissolved, so it can be rebuilt stronger for your benefit and for your good. The second card, which can represent the present for you in this top three for clarity, is the Death card. Don't freak out. The Death card is the 13th card of the Major Arcana. 1 plus 3 is 4, and that speaks to the Cancer ruled house of your home and family, or your roots and foundations. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be, and family is who you share that home with. That can be your partner, your parents, your spouse, your children, your fur babies, house guests, roommates, or housemates. Roots can be outside, but it can also be inside. It can be your internal, deeply held beliefs and philosophies. The structure, foundation, for a human being would be like their teeth or their bones, but for the house it would be like the studs, the foundation, the roof, or the plumbing. The Death card is representative of the zodiac sign of Scorpio. You may be dealing, once again, like I said, with a Scorpio. Like I said, I saw the infinity sign over the magician's head, reminding me of Scorpio, and now we've got the Scorpio card showing up. The ruling planet of Scorpio is Mars and Pluto. Mars is in Aries right now, but will be transiting out later on. But Pluto is in the 12th house. The 12th house is the house that is ruled by Pisces. And that's the house of your dreams and secrets and secret enemies and secrets that you keep from yourself through repression, or secrets that are kept from you, secrets that you keep in general. It's also your self-limitation, your self-undoing, and it's a karmic house. The way that it's laid out here in front of me is that the Death card is marching in reverse to the World card in reverse. And Scorpio rules the 8th house. That's the house of life, death, and rebirth. It's the house of cycles, of transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis. It's your instincts, primal, basic, or human. It deals with sexuality and other people's money. The way that the Death card is... let me show this to y'all. The Death card is marching to the world that's been turned upside down. So it could be that you are revisiting a situation in the past where your world felt upside down. And it could have been dealing with death. It could have been dealing with life or rebirth. It could have been dealing with transformation in some way, sexuality, or dealing with other people's money. And the fact that you've got this Venus retrograde going through your house of money, earning ability, self-esteem, it could be that you're dealing with sexuality issues through the internet, playing out in self-esteem issues in some way. It could be that you are dealing with the actual passing of someone. Or hearing about the passing of someone. It really just depends on how it's playing out in your world. But the way that the Death card is marching towards the world, it's like it's a confrontation of the present looking at the past. It could be that a Scorpio or someone who has scorpionic tendencies is looking at what has gone on in the 11th house, or what has gone on in that third house of communication as well, because it's the 21st card. Looking at that communication with a fine-tooth comb and seeing it for what it is. It depends on your personal chart. This is a general reading. The final card that I pulled, which represents the future, in the top 3 for clarity if you need a time frame. This is the 10th card of the Major Arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. The fact that it's in the upright is a positive omen for you, and I really like closing out this tarot spread on a positive note for you. The Wheel of Fortune, like I said, 10th card of the Major Arcana, represents that house of Capricorn. When I think of the 10th house, I think of William Shakespeare and how he said, all the world is a stage. I think of the 10th house as the stage that you approach the world on, and it's how the world knows you. It's through your career, your status, your reputation, and dealing with authorities or authority figures, people in your world that are authorities in their field, like a doctor, expert, or professor. This card in itself represents the planet Jupiter, and Jupiter is a gas giant. Jupiter is known for expansion, increase, and excess, also achievement. There could be some of that in the 10th house. You aren't having any direct 10th house astrological energy by the major players. You may have minor or personal planets moving through those houses, or it could be dealing with your moon or rising sign Aquarius, just depending. But this Jupiter is transiting through Libra right now, and that is your 9th house. The 9th house is traditionally ruled by Sagittarius, and that is the house, bless you, Zoe. That is the house, sorry, my dog sneezed. That is the house of your worldview expanded through study or travel. It's higher education, long distance trips and questing. It is the study of foreign languages, religion, astrology, philosophy, legal system matters, political matters. It's also the house that governs foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. Jupiter expanding that 9th house could be your dealings in this area of life are getting better. Now, if life was good in this area, then it could be getting better in that area. But if life was not so hot in that area, it could be getting more not so hot in that area, because wherever Jupiter goes, it gets bigger. And it amplifies what's going on already. The Wheel of Fortune card in itself is a representation of a change of direction, which is very clear with the eclipse season and Venus retrograde coming into our worlds for this spring 2017 period of time. Now, I did the tarot math for y'all, and it ended up being 45. 4 plus 5 is 9, and that speaks to that Jupiter in Libra that I just got finished talking about. The house of your worldview expanded through study or travel, and Jupiter making things bigger there. So it could be that you're doing a lot of traveling. It could be that you are dealing with a lot of people that are new to you or foreign to you. You could be dealing with people who are actually from a foreign land. You may be wanting to travel to a foreign land, or you could be either enrolling in higher education or just learning things as you go on the fly. But it's an expansive energy for you in that 9th house. So, now let's move on to the Oracle card, shall we? I pulled for you from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, the Moss Agate card. This card deals with stability, persistence, and grounding, and it can help heal and amplify the vibrations of the heart and root chakra. Leo rules the heart, and that is where you are experiencing a lunar eclipse this evening, because I'm recording that, or this video on the night of the Leo lunar eclipse. That is occurring in your 7th house. That is the house that is ruled traditionally by Libra, and that deals with your partnerships and relationships and how you identify who you are as a human being through those partnerships and relationships. And it's also dealing with counseling and open enemies. Sorry, I had to add all that in there because the heart was in there and I wanted to link it. So, Moss Agate is a stone of nature's peace and abundance. It reminds us that there is always a silver lining to each cloud. You have pulled this card as a reminder to be resilient in the pursuit of your higher purpose and to embrace the grounding, calm, and stable energy of Mother Earth along the way. Meditate with Moss Agate to balance mood swings, instill patience, and to build a better determination to handle life's challenges. Now, the card that I pulled from the Journey of Love Oracle deck is the 38th card. It's called The Pearl Threaded, and I think this is such a pretty card. The lighting in here sucks. I'm sorry. But it looks like flowers or like moonbeams, and the pearls could be like little moons or something. I don't know. But this is the 38th card. 3 plus 8 is 11, and that speaks to that 11th house that you rule, governing the internet, friends, groups, memberships, associations, teams that you belong to. Also your future wishes, goals, and dreams, your bucket list. But it's also where Saturn is transiting, where you're probably feeling limitation, containment, probably blockage, probably a need for structure, a respect for boundaries. This card indicates that we must honor in ourselves and in others the divinity within. Shifting perspectives in your world allows you to see situations, circumstances, and people in a new light. Individuality is to be respected, and Aquarius, that's very, very important to you. And your individuality should be acknowledged. But right now is your time to be in and amongst the groups that you associate with most. Now is a time for you to share your perspective and your knowledge so that you can help inspire others to see their divinity and the divine in others as well. So allow yourself to open up to others, because pearls of wisdom are to be traded and not hoarded. The next card that I pulled for you is from the Divine Circus Oracle deck, and it is the Crown of the Butterfly Bambini. It is the 31st card of this deck. 3 plus 1 is 4. That speaks to that Cancer-ruled house of home and family. You may be dealing with a Cancer. You may be dealing with issues of home and family. This card indicates a time of transformation. A cycle of rebirth is upon you. Now, with every rebirth, there has to be a death. And the death associated with this card is more than likely the death of an ego or an identity. The reminder is that you must be and act like bamboo. Be flexible and strong. Be flexible and strong enough to have the courage to let go of what you've outgrown. This makes the transformation in you all the more powerful. Trust in what is happening and in what you are becoming. Growing pains are called just that because it hurts to grow. Think about the growing pains that a butterfly has to go through to become a butterfly. They start out a caterpillar. They end up wound up really tight in a probably very uncomfortable cocoon where they're stuck for a very long time. I would be very claustrophobic. But after the fact, they burst out and they're a completely different being with a completely different perspective of the world. You may be going through your butterfly process. The last card that I pulled for you is from the Butterfly Oracle for Life Changes deck by Doreen Virtue. It is the Seeking and Finding card. This card indicates that meditation would be a good way for you to utilize the energy at play around you. It indicates that reunions are highly probable under this influence, and if you aren't seeking someone or something, someone is definitely seeking you. Have faith and open up your arms and your heart to receive what is coming. You will find what you're looking for, even if it requires you to call upon God or the angels to help you find it. And this can be a person, a place, or a thing. You may have things that you have lost, that you've valued, that you treasured. They may be coming back to you. Well, Aquarius, that's what I've got for you for this Venus retrograde reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I will be around for the March videos, and it is blowing my mind that I'm even saying that. But I have to finish this video so I can do the Pisces video. And once Pisces is done, I'm taking a break. I'm going to hit the backyard, or the front yard, and probably get in the back of my fiance's truck, the tailgate down, and watch that lunar eclipse. Or at least bask in the rays, the lunar moonbeams of it. Might be a good idea for you to do that too. If you watch this video tonight and you're in America. If you're not, I hope you watch it tomorrow night, because the Leo lunar eclipse is something that's going to be impacting us all. You're going to feel it in your 7th house. So take care of yourself, Aquarius. Be kind to yourself. Save some of that kindness for others, because we're all going through private battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I'll see you soon. But until then, take care. Namaste. And bye, y'all.